Hello and welcome, I'm Count Christo, and this, for the first time in single player, is Kaiserreich. If you don't know, this is a fantastic mod, which is an alternate history. As you can see, it starts at the same time as vanilla, but in this alternate timeline, Germany and the Central Powers won World War I, right? And various other things have changed. So for example, since Germany won World War I, they've taken over lots of this formerly French territory here. Sorry, not here, but here. And they've also puppeted all kinds of people. All these people are their puppets, except for Ukraine, who's on their side but not their puppet. But they've got all these puppets, and they've got puppets abroad as well. All this is theirs, and these are their puppets, or just directly owned. And so yeah, there's a huge sprawling German empire. They do, however, have some negative modifiers, and they're going to have a huge market crash soon, which makes them a bit easier to take down. France and Britain have gone communist. And when Britain went communist, most relevant for our campaign, the king and the aristocracy, etc., fled across the sea to Canada, which is where we are. So here we are in Canada. We've got George V. We're still in the Entente, and here is the Entente. The French did the same thing. They fled across the sea to Africa. So there's a French Republic down there, and we still have some of India, which I believe is about to get declared war on. Afghanistan declares war on them really early, which is going to be great, because that's going to let us go on to total mobilization or something really early. Oh yeah, we've got Australia too. They're not a puppet anymore, though. We have no puppets up here. When I say our puppet anymore, I know they were Canada's puppet, but they were, Britain, and we are the rightful successors of Britain. So there's all kinds of new focus trees, and the advisors system is all different. There's stability. It's a great mod. It's a great mod. We'll go through it as it emerges. I've never played as Canada before. This is the first time I've ever loaded up as them, so we will see what happens. I believe we lead the Entente. Yeah, we're the leader of our faction. Good. The United States, I happen to know, is going to have a civil war, right? And that leaves us all kinds of tantalizing opportunities. So we're probably going to try and go to war with the United States and reclaim some land there, and then, well, we're the market liberals, right? Alright, so can we justify on anyone? I think the only thing stopping us, say, just going, hey Germany, is world tension. Yeah. So we're going to have to wait for world tension, or do something by events. Right, what should we do first? Yeah, let's look at the cabinet, because this is really cool. I love these changes. They should totally be implemented in vanilla. Well, a couple of them anyway. This one, for example, right? Average stability. So we're on average stability. If our political power went negative, each day there'd be a chance we'd go down to low stability. You go average, low, very low, disaster. And as you can see, disaster these are terrible modifiers. And good stability, if you have 150 free, you can spend it to this, right? So, and these are really good. Factory output and consumer goods down is great. National unity doesn't matter that much. Then there's party popularity, which you can't ever change. It just depends on how popular your party is. So if we can get our party to be super popular, we'll get more political power per day, which is really nice. At the moment, we gain 0.4 per day, which is awful. Awful, because we have divided government and Anglo-French tensions. So let's look at our focus tree. As I said, I have never looked at this. Okay, so you can do Defense Scheme 1 and Defense Scheme 2. You have to be independent, and you have to not have disjointed government. So how do you get rid of the disjointed government? That seems like the first thing. We can ally ourselves. Oh, protecting Ireland, tick. What does that mean? Alliance for aid. So we can ally the Irish, looks like. Sounds good. We can attack Britain. I think that's got to be one of our moves, right? We got to try and take out Britain. That can only happen if they're at war with the German Empire, or if it's late in the day. And we have to not be disunited. We can demand Danish Atlantic possessions. We can do that just straight away, which means we can go to war with Denmark. War with Denmark could be good, just to get some more land and to create world tension. It doesn't really matter if we get their Atlantic possessions. I can't imagine this stuff's worth much. Really. Do they have any other Atlantic possessions? Oh, who's this? The Caribbean Confederation. Ooh, cool. So there's all these islands are with us, led by this guy, Marcus Garvey. Cool, he's on our side. He's a social conservative. We're a market liberal, aren't we? Yeah. So we're liberals, basically. Most of the world is under this authoritarian democrat, which is like the kind of old school. You know, they're democracy, but the king has quite a bit of influence, and they're not very liberal. And lots of the world is also under syndicalists, which are a type of communism. I know nothing about this. Here's another social liberal, but they're going to... Lots of stuff happens in Russia that's odd. Italy is divided. It's such a good mod, right? Let's focus on us. Let's focus on us. Factories are an easy thing to sort. We're going to build some civilian factories, right? I think that's sensible. Where can we... Is this just a check? Yeah, this is our only possessions in the whole world. Is up here. Now, we don't have very many places with lots of building slots, so maybe it's not worth building infrastructure. Although, of course, as we get techs, and some of these focuses in the industry tree over here probably add some slots. Ooh, support equipment production costs down 15%. The mod is not quite finished. Some things aren't quite localized right. So there you can see, for example, CAN_nylon_idea. So the Polymer Corporation is not quite sorted there. How many research slots do we have? 4. Let's use them. I can do that even easier than... Research, as you can see here, is exactly the same as vanilla, which is fine. What have we got invented? Tanks. Oh, cool, we got the British... Is this the original British tree, or is this the Canadian tree for tanks? I don't know. So I think we should go tanks this game. I think we should build a bunch of heavy tanks. Although we don't produce any chromium, so that'd be tricky. But we don't produce basically anything, so whatever we try and produce is going to be tricky. Let's invent field hospitals. They're going to be absolutely essential for our early game success. Right. Civilian factories. Let's build more. Well, we don't have much room, so maybe we should just go military factories. We only have 13 at the moment. Yeah, we don't have enough room to build civilian factories, really. Let's build some military factories. Let's be sensible about it, though. 70, let's build some there. Where else have we got? 60 here. 50, 50. 50. 40, 40, 40, 40. 40. Yeah. So, since we've got such low factory counting, that's probably sensible. Now, stuff-wise, we want a lot of guns. We're going to need some support equipment. Not too much, though. We're definitely going to need some motorized for field hospitals. And we're definitely going to need all kinds of artillery. Looks pretty good to me. Ships-wise, we already have a fleet, I believe. Yeah, it looks like we retained a fair amount of the Mediterranean fleet. Sorry, the British fleet at the end of the First World War. So let's bring these guys. Where's our best naval base? 1, 6, 6. Alright, let's come here. Where are they coming from? Rather far afield. Yeah, so the problem with war with Denmark is we don't have the naval range to get to Denmark. So I don't know how we'd do anything there. Although we do have range around this area because we've got, of course, our allies in the French Republic. This is currently neutral. We need to try and keep that neutral. We'll probably have a campaign in here to try and get some control of Kingdom of Spain. They have a civil war soon, as with vanilla. Although it's obviously a different civil war. So in terms of navies, I think we should build some convoys. We're going to need a lot of convoys because we're going to need to do a lot of trading and we're going to need to do a lot of wars overseas. And then I think, should we just go with the standard light cruiser play? What do you think? Let's build some carriers as well as some light cruisers. It's going to take a really long time. But I think this is the right play. We're going to send them all to one of the fleets. I think carrier light cruiser will work for us. Our divisions, I don't really know where they're needed, to be honest, because as I say, I haven't really played it. Is that all our troops? Oh, good lord. And we'll put them on the American border. Why can't I extend past that river, past this? See, the Kaiserreich mod changed the front line, the map a little bit, and it looks like in this particular area they haven't changed it very well. because you can no longer frontline past these things. Maybe that was intentional. If it was, I disagree, but maybe it was intentional. So we're just going to put a couple of front lines on them, in case they're, in case anything happens in this area. We want to be sure to protect our interests. Obviously, a straight up war with the United States right now, we would lose, because they have. Oh no, they have 5 divisions. Okay, so we could win a straight up war with the United States right now. Shame we can't just declare on them. Right, focuses. The King's Speech gets 150 political power. Then we can draft Bill C7. We reform the military. I guess this just allows us to do the ones further down. We can have the Constitution Act, because we either have to have it. Alright, so to do the Constitution Act, which gets rid of this divided government, which is pretty good, we can get Edward the 8th has to be king. Okay. Oh goodness, I haven't started my timer. We're gonna have a long first episode. Sorry. So either it passed or it didn't pass, and we supported the Conservatives or the Liberals. Okay, and then we can form a united government, which gives us national unity and political power. That's okay. And then we get this one, which gets rid of the Anglo-French tensions, which reduces the likelihood of revolts or unrest in Quebec. Well, that sounds pretty good. Or we can abolish the government, which adds a whole bunch of advisors. And for this one, C7 has to not pass, and the king has to discard democracy. This gives political power. Loyalists become the ruling party. Who are the Loyalists? The Loyalists are paternal autocrats. They can justify at 25% world tension. Then you can do this one. Liberal aligned ministers will be removed. Remove the national spirit divided government. And then this one, which gives recruitable population 3%. And training time minus 20%. But it sounds like we're going to keep Anglo-French tensions if we go down this way. But recruitable population plus 2.5. Sorry, recruitable population 3% is real good. So we might have to do that anyway. But I feel like in order to stay true to Canada's, the freedom that we're going to be bringing back, I think we should probably stay market liberal. Don't you? I feel like we should. Problem is, then we can only basically attack. Or we can do the Civil War intervention thing. Let's try staying democratic. Let's go Constitution Act, United Government, official bilingualism. I think that sounds good. So we're going to want to do this once the guy dies. Public Works gives us construction speed plus 10%. Very nice. And we get an event. Adds infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, factories and support equipment down. Adds rubber production. Loads more factories. Gets nuclear reactor construction speed plus 20%. That's pretty good. This gives 3 progress. Where's our research slots? Oh, here's one. We already have 4, right? Yes, this is the last one. Well, I'd quite like to rush that. This gives some political power too. Problem is, if we took a focus right now, we'd be losing political power, which is awful. That's truly awful. So we need to not take a focus, I think. Or do anything over here. Land construction speed for a year. Get a bunch of forts in St. Lawrence in southern Ontario, which is around here. Okay. We can fortify the Great Lakes, the Georgian line, the Maple line. So we can build a bunch of forts with focuses. That's cool. And then you can go either this way or this way. So we can go a treaty with the Pacific States, an alliance with the Pacific States, so we can get them into the Entente. The Pacific States of America, obviously, are a faction that will spawn over here in the American Civil War. If we invite them to the Entente, do they have to be at peace? They have to be fully independent. And I think this means we might be able to declare war. Yeah. Or we can do the Reclaim the Oregon Treaty, which means we have to be fully independent. One of the following has to be true. Either the paternal autocrats or the national populists have to be in power, which gives us a claim on this area. Okay, so it looks like we probably can't do that, so we'll have to go down this way. That's fine. If we can get allied with them, we can do that in a very short period of time, we can ally them. And if we could do that while they're still in their civil war, we might be able to get involved in their civil war, which would be very helpful. You know, getting in war without having to have world tension up. Now, so once the civil war breaks out, there are these four sides, right? Pacific States, the American Union, United States, and what's the other one called? Combined Syndicalists. So we have to pick a side, basically. So do we want to support... We can support Washington, which makes us go with United States, and then we can get a pact of non-aggression and cooperation with them. And then we can take this, which I guess makes us join the side of whoever we cooperated with. So we don't want to side with the Syndicalists. We probably side with the US, because they're the least authoritarian, I imagine. But the upshot rather, of all that is we don't take a focus. So we need to save up some political power, and then once we're able to take focuses like this that will gain us political power, then that's much better. It only takes 28 days, so I'm going to do that as soon as possible. But for now, let's trade. So from the United States, yeah, I think we like the United States for now. So let's trade with them. Resource spread is the same as it ever was, I think. Let's trade with the Netherlands. Trade with Portugal. No, United States. Anytime we can help them out, let's do that. Okay, and let's unpause. Right, Kaiserreich, Eternal Peace. So you get some pop-ups, and we're going to ignore them. Now, this is the only one that matters. Do we want to see all the news events? I think we do. It'd be more fun if we see all the news events about what's going on around the world, don't you think? I think so. Okay, what have we got in forms of Air Force? Lots of people on boats, which is good to see. The political situation. The Prime Minister's new government has a slim majority after the defeat of R.B. Bennett's Conservative Party and his British backers, but not all is secure. George's health is steadily declining, and despite sickness continues to oppose the moderating influence of the Prime Minister on Canadian politics. Senile and obsessed with reclaiming the Empire. I think we are rather obsessed with that as well. He lends influence to the British exiles who now sit in the House of Lords, formerly the Senate. Their presence in the upper house threatens to endanger the Prime Minister's legislative programme. While Canada has grown strong by an influx of expertise, capital and technology, it remains an uncertain player on the world stage. The next few years of Mackenzie's government will decisively shape the world's future. How exciting! The rise of the modders. Today at dawn, a strange vessel descended... What? What? Oh god. Is this a bug? What's going on? No, it's not a bug, but we've done something terribly wrong. Is this an alien invasion? That's so annoying. Why are we going to lose political power to stop having these? The modders have arrived, and if you join them, then you just get loads of factories and OP them. And you can play as them. They arrive and then you fight them. That's so weird. Well, not this time you won't. Why do we lose political power for that choice? But oh well. So there was what, a whole nation was going to appear over here and then have all these OP buffs and take over the whole world. No, that seems dumb. Right. It's speed 5. What should we call our theatre? I don't know. The Reclamation? I don't know. Army Group 1. I'm so inventive. We'll put this on top priority. Oh yeah, what kind of generals we got? Hey, we've got a fast planner. Ooh, we've got a great field marshal. Yeah. Alright, seize him. So we've got this militia brigade. Let's check out our... let's put speed 4 and let time go while I look. Yeah, so one thing this changes is it adds in this garrison. You've got garrison, infantry, and militia, right? So garrison, as you can see, gives lots of defense. It actually gives the same amount of defense as infantry, despite being, I believe, cheaper. No, it's not actually cheaper. Militia's the cheaper one. So militia is cheaper, half as expensive, same manpower cost, but they are less good. See, so it goes from 22 to 15 defense, and their soft attack and hard attack are a joke. The suppression is also lower. But yeah, comparing these two, basically the difference is more breakthrough on the infantry, more suppression on the garrison, and that's about it. I think their speed is slower? No, so the only difference really is breakthrough. So garrison, I think we're going to have a designated port defense unit, which is going to be made of garrison. Because they take less to train, and they take less time to train. But what's the other advantage? I swear there is another advantage. That's right, they have more HP. There you go, there you go. They got more HP. Are they worse at attacking across rivers and stuff? Yeah, they're worse at attacking in all terrain. So we're going to use them to defend our borders. Now this, no. This looks like the one that we'll build off. Or we could go, hey, you know what? We've got really low manpower, right? So maybe we should use Marines. Do Marines have lower HP than infantry? They do have a bit lower HP. But they can have a lot better organization. They have 50 organization with just these 3 guys. Rather than this... oh, that's 34, but they got more guys. So if this one were to have just Marines, let's have a look at what the difference would be. Less HP won't be good for us if we're trying to preserve as much manpower as possible. We'd have substantially more organization, but yeah, that much less HP is unacceptable. Let's build off this infantry division. So what I think we're going to do is train, put a bunch of them in training, and then all of these. I don't want to train these. We are going to want a tank division, which I guess we'll have to train from this. But this sucks so much that I'm gonna delete our only existing one of it. I don't want to train our valuable stuff away. So let's delete them. We do want some Marines, so I think we will keep a Marine template to be able to attack, do some amphibious invasions maybe. So I will train them, but I don't want to train any Group 2s because they have artillery. Or so do Group 1s. I guess we just train them all. Okay, so let's train them. Profit from legation cities. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanking, signed in November that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast, under a joint control of world powers owning interests in China. The independence of these constituent cities was guaranteed by the major local international powers such as the Qing Empire, all these other people. Foreign investment has allowed them to flourish, not only in foreign trade, but also thanks to the ongoing economic crisis. And smuggling has helped. Interesting. Our investment is bringing cash. Great. So we gain some political power, and we get profits from legation cities. 5% consumer goods down. That's these guys. Will you join our faction? When there's loads of world tension, it doesn't look like they're going to want to join our faction, even though they're social conservatives, which is close to us. Oh yes, and sorry, this mod has a silly thing where no one is ever allowed to join any factions. Legation cities are not allowed to join factions. No one's ever allowed to join factions except by event. Okay, never mind. Okay, so these cities are creating some profit for basically everyone in the world. So we have to, you know, keep your hands off, you two. Don't annex them. Right, anyway, on pause. Yeah, so I brought all the planes here, and let's stand them down. Oh, some world tension. What just happened? Manchurian exploitation. I guess that's a focus that Japan just did. Let's we'll check on that in a second. Is that a focus you just did? Manchurian exploitation? Doesn't look like it. Maybe it was an event. So the assassination of President Kerensky. I believe that was the old leader of Russia. He's been shot and killed on his way to the Senate. How dare they? So there's problems in Russia. So it's going up by any point for a day. That hurts. Lots of these ministers apparently. So he gives us more political power gain and consumer factories down. I like him. He gives us production efficiency cap plus 10, military factory construction P plus 10, which is so good, but Political power gain. Down. Sucks. He gives us absolutely nothing, so we're going to replace him. And he gives us political power gain down. Oh, he's so useless. We need to replace him ASAP. The death of George V. Ever since the Radical Union's victory in Britain, George V has been plagued by illness and his health has been failing. The public was taken by surprise when yesterday, at 11:55 p.m, King George V died from a bout of fever. His son, Prince Edward, is now set to inherit his crown. Ooh. Ooh. The Entente enters a state of mourning as this guy, who looks substantially less cool, takes control. Okay, well, that means we can now take this focus. 28 days is going to put us minus, but I think we need to risk it. Hopefully we don't go down to King of Joy. Yes, we just read that. Hopefully we don't go down to disaster. Oh god, it instantly used 10. Yes, I forgot about that. Please don't go down to low stability. That would suck. That would really suck. Let's speed 5 it up, I think. Just for a little bit here. New king. No trait. It's okay. Yeah, so there are no decisions. I can't find any decisions for any countries, which is strange. And there are no theorists. These are new. These are so cool. Right? Heavy equipment manufacturer. So let's go on to one when I talk about this. So like the light tank one is, you know, fairly normal. But then if you look at this, you get all kinds of different stuff. Like infantry soft attack plus 2%. That's pretty good. Artillery manufacturer, artillery research time down. And you can have 2 of these that are the same. Then you get weapons manufacturer, which gives you less production cost, or better stats. We'll probably go with better stats since we have so little manpower. Then military high command is all different. We'll look into this more when we have some political power to actually spend on this stuff. Black Monday! On the 3rd of February, 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking and it plunged. So they've just got this Black Monday thing, which is horrendous. And they have to do all these focuses here to recover from it. Yes, okay, we completed it. We didn't go down to low stability. Good. The heir apparent, with his father dead, Edward the William, Edward the Prince of Wales, will be coronated King Emperor of the British Empire. 2 large factions within the Canadian political sphere have coalesced. One led by the Prime Minister, who seeks to develop and refine Canada's industrial strength and harvest its resources over foreign policy. And the other led by R.B. Bennett and his supporters of British dysphoria, who wish to mobilise the Canadian economy to launch an invasion of the Union of Britain in the near future, even if that means accelerating arms production at the expense of civil liberties. The Prince of Wales is popular both in the French and English Canada, and his views may well sway the opinion of others. He could prove to be vulnerable to the arguments of either group, depending on how well they make their case to him. So, we can endorse Bennett and the Exiles, listen to his elected Privy Councillors, which I guess just means these guys make the decision, announce his support for the Prime Minister, or decides it's best not to commit to either side yet. So what this restricts is what focuses we can take, right? So we can only take this one if we supported the Conservatives or the Liberals, if the bill doesn't pass. Okay. So Bennett is in who's in favour of what? Bennett is in favour of basically this one. He's in favour of going after the Union of Britain, and I think we're staying democratic, so we probably won't do that. Because this one, yeah, that's this way, I think. So let's support the Prime Minister. We announced our support for the Prime Minister. The Prince decided Canada needs to develop its strength into something more effective before war can something. Make reservations for a grand coronation. The King has spoken to the nation, electrified it. From Vancouver to St. John, from Toronto to the Arctic, Canadians everywhere are buzzed with excitement after hearing a charismatic and forceful speech, celebrating Canadian progress and potential. The 20th century shall be Canada's century. Hell yeah. Celebrated Canada's strength. The United States doesn't like it, and the Australasian Confederation doesn't like it. Why not? Just because we're celebrating the fact that we're nice and strong. What's wrong with you? Okay, so now we're going to take... not reorganize the army. That gives you... Oh, experience plus 50. That's pretty good. No, we're going to take these. I think we're going to go straight down here to try and get rid of those horrible things. Now, it would be nice to come off volunteer only. But that doesn't really matter for now because we're going for the long-term peace thing here. Let's let time... No, it's not let time keep kicking. So I think we kick out this guy, right? Because he's useless. We could replace him with... And we want to put only market liberals in power. Because if you put someone who's not market liberal in power, after a while they can they can support their own ideology. So we can only take, we can take this one. No, he's just as bad. Oh god, there's no one we can take that doesn't have this flamboyant tough guy trait. That sucks. Ah, these are all market liberals, aren't they? Just to make sure. We don't have the wrong guy in power. No. Okay, so Intel Minister. Any of these any good? Just encryption and decryption, I think. Yeah. Oh, he's both, though. But he's a paternal autocrat. We can't have him anyway. Alright, we could raise our stability, which would get 5% less civilian factories, which could help. Could we go to early mobilization? No, we need 5% world tension for that. We get a chief of army. Entrenchment speed plus 25%. Sorry, plus 20%. That's pretty good. Division attack plus 10%. Lots of tanks. He gives, yeah, tank stuff, status defense, entrenchment speed, division attack plus 5. I quite like division defense plus 10, but obviously he's not someone to take right now. Industrial research time down by 5% just for the whole game. I think it's pretty good. Let's start with that. Oh, I should have removed this guy. Well, he gives us less political power, but is there anyone else that we can get? Yeah, we can get this guy. Resource gain efficiency. Oh, yes. I forgot about this. The Emirate of Afghanistan declares war. So we're going to accept this call to arms against Afghanistan. Afghanistan is crazy. Like, I don't know why they do this. They have 4 to 6 divisions. They're going to get crushed. We are, however, going to send our armies, just in case we get there in time to get any army experience. And I should have saved political power, because right now we could take all the way up to partial mobilization, which would have been nice. But oh well, hopefully Italy will wait. It's not Italy? India. The coronation of the Prince of the People. Whoopee, he's so charming. Nice. The new king was invested with the royal regalia at the First Anglican Church of Ottawa. Jubilant crowds from all over Canada gather in crowds in cities to celebrate a new age of the Canadian royalty. Hooray. So we're drafting this new bill. These guys are all sailing over. Oh, the 5th Anglo-Afghani War. Yeah, let's read about why. As the British Raj collapsed into turmoil and warfare, the neighbouring kingdom of Afghanistan took advantage of this to seize Peshawar and Quetta. These places. Peshawar, Quetta, yes. However, the Afghanis government's attempts to modernise have been met with fierce resistance from conservative elements within the country. The king now hopes to use the turmoil in Delhi following the death of King George to his advantage by repeating the success of the 4th Anglo-Afghan War. The king hopes to silence the conservative opposition and bring new lands to the crown. However, international efforts do not put much hope on the tiny mountain nation winning this conflict. No, so this place is apparently suffering... it says they're suffering some kind of chaos, but it's not actually represented in game. Okay, the Jacobins have been elected in France. Okay, so this guy's been elected. Cool, so they're now totalists. Which I don't think that matters too much for us. Arming the nation. The King's ascension marks the beginning of a new era. Indeed it does. The ad hoc and difficult task of strengthening Canadian industry, integrating the Royal Navy, and finding a place for hundreds of thousands of British exiles has been a trying test for Canada, but we have survived the initial storm. We are stronger now. But we must refine our strengths so they are equal to those other great powers. The Prime Minister and his government therefore putting together a comprehensive security and military bill that will address various issues facing Canada. The legislation should be known as Bill C-16. So have bill authorised solely by the Liberal Party, or make it a bipartisan effort? Well, let's make it a bipartisan effort. If we can get the other side on side, that sounds good. But the rest of this series, and indeed the bill C7, which I don't know why I keep calling it C16, C7 shall have to wait. I think that's a bill that Canada actually just passed. Anyway, shall have to wait until next time. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you there. Bye-bye.